Long ago, before you could simply flip a switch to light up your room, the world was a place of deep shadows and long dark nights where people lived in constant fear of knocking over a candle and burning their wooden houses down. In those days, once the sun went down behind the hills, work stopped, play stopped, and cities became ghostly quiet because the only way to see was by using smelly gas lamps that hissed and flickered, or faint wax candles that barely gave enough light to read a single page of a book. It was a time when the night ruled over humans, trapping everyone in darkness until the sunrise. But in the late 1800s, a very curious and stubborn inventor named Thomas Edison decided he wanted to bottle the sunlight and bring it inside our homes safely. Edison had a famous laboratory in Menlo Park, which looked like a messy warehouse filled with strange chemicals, piles of wires, massive batteries, and glass jars. And it was here that he and his loyal team of assistants began their great adventure to change the world forever. Everyone knew electricity existed, but nobody knew how to make a small, safe light that wouldn't burn out in a few seconds. So Edison promised he would build a lamp that was powered by electricity, safe enough for a child to touch, and cheap enough for every family to own. The biggest challenge was finding a tiny thread, called a filament, that sits inside the glass bulb, because this thread had to get incredibly hot to glow bright. But if it got too hot in the fresh air, it would burn up instantly like a dry leaf in a fire. Edison knew he had to put the thread inside a glass bulb and suck all the air out to create a vacuum, but finding the right material for the thread turned into the hardest treasure hunt in history. He became absolutely obsessed, sleeping on the hard wooden floor of his lab with his clothes on and waking up to work more, testing over 6,000 different materials, searching for the perfect fiber. He tried simple cotton thread, he tried paper, he tried wood, and he even tried distinct hairs from his friends' beards and exotic bamboo sent from the jungles of Japan. Yet time after time, the bulb would flash bright for a second and then pop into darkness. His critics laughed at him, and famous scientists said it was impossible, but Edison did not care about the thousands of failures because he believed that every failure was just a lesson, teaching him what not to use. The pressure was incredibly high as money was running out and his team was exhausted from working day and night. But on a cool autumn evening in October 1879, Edison sat down with a piece of ordinary cotton thread that he had baked until it was just a fragile piece of carbon. With the steady hands of a surgeon, he placed this delicate black thread into a glass bulb, carefully pumped out the air, and turned on the electric current while his entire team gathered around, holding their breath and expecting another disappointment. To their amazement, the filament didn't pop, but instead it began to glow with a warm, steady golden orange light that didn't flicker or fade. The group was too excited to sleep, so they sat in the dim laboratory for hours, staring at that single glowing bulb as if it were the most precious diamond on Earth, terrified that if they looked away or spoke too loudly, the vibration would break it. They watched it for 1 hour, then 2 hours, and then 5 hours, and as the light continued to burn through the long night and into the morning, they realized they had finally beaten the darkness. That little glass bulb, which burned for over 13 hours, proved to the world that the night didn't have to be dark anymore, and because of Thomas Edison's refusal to give up after thousands of mistakes, we now can play, read, and live our lives brightly at any time we choose.